Hello everyone and welcome back to another Mara stock chart planning update video. It is the weekend and we have a very interesting, not just week ahead of us, but a very interesting rest of the month because price support is holding quite strong. So we got to see how this plays out. Of course, just like in every other chart planning video, I'm just going to get started with Bitcoin first for correlation reasons to get a better understanding of what Mara can do. After going over Bitcoin, we'll jump into Mara. The chart for Mara. So remember guys, everything in this video is just my own personal opinion. It is not financial advice because I am not always correct on my analysis here. But I do tend to stick with my trades and my expectations until I am proven wrong. Quick thing though, interesting macroeconomic news week for the US. Regardless of all of these, for example, a lot of payroll and employment data came out to be very good. There are more states considering the Bitcoin strategic reserve for their own state treasury or government, whatever you call it. And then you also have, again, price supporting that thesis as well. And so far in February, we are down. And technically, usually in February, we see pretty good gains. Sometimes it can be weak, but for the most part, we do see some pretty decent double-digit gains. So let's see how the rest of February plays out. That's just one of the other reasons why I'm bullish on Bitcoin. But with the chart supporting this, I'm not going to go over it too much, the bigger picture, because I've done that plenty of times in previous chart planning videos this week. We're just going to focus on the current price action up here. So we did previously fill in this supportive extension area quite well. And ever since then, we came back up. And then this imbalance area tends to hold quite well in this level. So we haven't really broken below the 24-hour liquidity around 95.5K. And we continue to hold quite well. So far, we have 3 points, or you can say 4 points testing this, and it's still holding quite well. It's also trying to go ahead and reset the RSI by moving sideways enough so we can have this flat. We've seen this happen multiple times before. Most of the time it tends to pop up. Lately, every time this happens, it's been falling. But that's also because as that was happening, we've also been in a corrective structure. This day right here, we did confirm so far. I can't really truly confirm it because we haven't confirmed an uptrend pattern, but I'm going to go ahead and say that this is in, and we have a more likelihood chance of going higher than going lower. There is a lot more liquidity walls for the shorts than there is for longs. A lot of these can tend to act as a magnet as well going forward. We can still potentially see this support area get filled more, but so far it's holding quite well and minimum requirements are met. So this is good enough to move higher. We just got to see how the rest of the weekend goes, and then going forward into next week when the US stock market opens specifically. And this is all going to make sense with Mara in just a moment. We have a lot of liquidity walls up here that can act as a magnet. My next leg up expectations for February is in this area. So sometime by the end of February, I do expect the price of Bitcoin to trade anywhere within this area up here in green, and as it tries to push past these liquidity walls. But before that, we have reasonable resistance, not just at this 101 mark. To me, this is actually quite weak and probably not valid anymore. My first more significant caution area is resistance in this area here. So we have imbalance that has not been filled just yet. It tried to fill it and it got rejected as it got near it. Now as we find more price bullishness in the price buildup, we can potentially go ahead and retest this imbalance area before we can find a chance to go even higher and start making new highs real soon within the next few weeks. As of right now, I am very bullish on Bitcoin. This is going to translate into Mara in just a moment. There's a few pathways we have in front of us in Mara, and with time they start narrowing down and we get a much more clear picture of what can happen. But one moment, guys. All right, we're back. I was just getting my little brother out the room. He's a little too loud, so it kind of distracts me a little bit too much. But yeah, we are finding quite strong support, and this can also narrow down going into next trading week for Mara. But again, there is more upside pressure. Mainly, we have some imbalance that can act as a stronger magnet, and then we have a lot of liquidity walls that can support that as well. But jumping into Mara now, to get a better picture of what's going on here, we have sort of a similar structure. Not quite though, but I'm gonna go ahead and break this down for you guys. We have been downtrending for a while. Ever since then, we started moving in a sideways pattern, and we are obviously in the discounted half of this overall structure right here. So what we have going on is we have some supportive extension areas down here that can be filled. Although the only thing that's making me believe that this first pathway may be invalidated is we have some buildup on earnings coming up with Mara soon, and this can also build up some hype, but that's just a smaller reason for it. Really, what we have is the RSI is showing very much sold off nature for quite a while without pushing the upside too much. So the price is trying to build up bullish momentum and it's holding quite well, not trying to break down any lower. We are in a downtrend. We've been seeing lower highs and lower lows for a bit, and it's starting to kind of narrow down, and they haven't been very significant. So with that and the RSI together, it shows that if there's any downside, there won't be much, and most likely it's going to be very short-lived as well. Mara is very tough to understand. It's very super fluctuative, and it tends to kind of do its thing every now and then instead of following Bitcoin. But at the end of the day, what the chart is telling us is that so far, this area down here is proven to be strong support. It would make sense to find a lot of traders accumulating at this level, but with the understanding that we can easily push down lower. If we do push down lower into this area, I would not be surprised. We've seen this happen many times before. We've seen it in the past happen many times before with these supportive extension areas for deep value. We've seen it break into them briefly before, and it happened many times. So, and then they quickly recover. So I wouldn't be surprised if this even does happen. It's going to recover super quick, and a lot of traders can miss the opportunity to accumulate at that point if they don't have any like limit orders set, as an example. So we still have the possibility of coming down here, but super quick recovery afterwards, in my opinion. Regardless, once we start moving higher, and this can happen soon, to fill in the top portion, the more premium section of this overall structure that we have forming, we have resistances here. So we have potential imbalance. It's not super clear, but potential imbalance here. And there was a subscriber that mentioned this area, and I didn't notice it when I took a closer look at it. Maybe in a different time frame, you guys can see it a little bit better. But there is some decent resistance there if you're looking at potentially supporting this imbalance with previous resistance right here that aligns with it as well. It's very possible, and then it also is close enough to the low resistance we have right here. So we have strong resistance at the green portion right here, and then if we can break that, the next resistance here will be right here, because we've seen, like in Bitcoin, we've seen imbalance areas get retested and then rejected, pulling the price back to whatever direction it came from. In this case, if we have a bullish move up, we can have a bearish correction afterwards. In this area right here. Imbalances tend to be retested, but tend to act as a strong magnet as well, like we saw in Bitcoin earlier, that many times, actually I can show you guys, last time it happened, it was right here. It didn't have a retest, but it did act as a strong magnet before the pumping the price back up to whatever direction it was starting. So we had a uptrend forming, pullback into imbalance. We can potentially see this, but more as supportive for the bullish case, pulling it back up here before it consolidates, and then pushing up higher, trying to break these liquidity walls. So my opinion with Mara, without getting into a bunch of insane pathways, is if you guys been watching for a while, this purple line indicates the premium and discounted half for the overall bullish trend that started a while back, that we've been tracking for like a year now. We're obviously in the discounted portion of it. We can see a quick pullback. If it were to happen, this is a very good accumulation point, in my opinion. Really good idea to any weakness going into next trading week, starting after tomorrow, to be accumulating. Not too heavy, because again, super volatile, and this structure still needs to prove its strength. So then we can easily push it back higher and then go into the first resistance before jumping into the second resistance. And then from there, we can see if we can have a rejection and then come up higher after that. So hopefully this made sense. I'll catch you guys in the next video, and I'll make an MSTR video tomorrow, trying to see if Bitcoin's going to hold this support line before we start pushing up higher into the imbalance area up here. So potentially short-term bullish on, or short-term bearish on Mara, but then we can easily see that correct in a very short period of time, most likely within 2 days of it happening, and then push up higher into the first two resistance levels we have here. Overall bullish, but super short-term bearish. Good accumulation point at the end of the day. So yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one, and take care.